So I just got a call from the post office here in Chamonix that there's a package waiting for me. And the timing couldn't be better because it's UTMB race week here in Chamonix, France. And what better place to test out a new 360 camera than in the Alps?
This is the brand new Insta360 X3, the newest 360 camera from the company that brought you the Insta360 ONE X2. And if you're not familiar with that camera, I have a review which I'll link to in the description below where you can learn all about that. The Insta360 X3, and you'll notice they've dropped the one from the name for simplicity, has a few exciting new features, including, most excitingly for me, a larger half-inch sensor. Larger than most action cameras on the market, including the GoPro, and larger than any other 360 camera that I'm aware of, at least to date. And a larger sensor means that you'll get much better performance in lower light conditions, which, as a trail runner, is really important to me, because I often find myself filming under the canopy, and sometimes even at night. So in this video, I'm going to give you my initial impressions of the Insta360 X3, and I'll show you some sample footage that I filmed at UTMB, the Ultra Trail du Mont Blanc in Chamonix, France, less than 2 weeks ago, along with a bit of other footage that we've shot since here on our paddleboards. Now, just in case you're not a trail runner and you aren't familiar with UTMB, it's a trail race that circumnavigates 106 miles around the Mont Blanc Massif, with close to 10,000 meters, almost 30,000 feet of elevation gain plus equal descent. It's basically the Super Bowl of trail running. And I was pretty stoked to have been sent this camera from Insta360 ahead of its release, because what better place to put a brand new action camera to the test? I ended up being out on course for over 34 hours, running through almost 2 nights. So it was a great chance to put this camera's low light capabilities to the test as well. But let's start first by talking about the specs of the Insta360 X3, which will be priced at $449.99 US or $599.99 Canadian. Like with any 360 camera, the camera is essentially filming all around you, all the time. Up, down, in front, to the sides, and behind. So all you need to do is stick the camera up in the air, or directly in front or behind you, but you don't need to think about which direction it's pointing or how you're framing the shot, and the camera can even be upside down. Later, you'll import the footage into either the mobile phone app, or like I do, the desktop application provided by Insta360. You'll then choose how you'd like your shot to be framed. The Insta360 X3 records in a resolution of 5.7K, but this is all around. So when you frame and render your final shot in Insta360 Studio, it'll be somewhere between around 4K down to maybe 1080p in resolution in terms of the actual pixels being used, depending on the field of view that you choose. But the X3 does have an upgraded 72 megapixel photo mode, so you can generate super high resolution photos with much higher details than before. It's also got a few new exciting features and modes, like a 4K single lens mode. So you can now shoot traditional wide-angle shots like you'd get on a GoPro, but in 4K. This means that you're essentially getting 2 action cameras in one, a 360 camera and a more traditional 4K action camera, capable of shooting up to 120 frames per second. But none of these features matter nearly as much to me as this new, larger sensor. And that's what I was really excited to put to the test at the race. UTMB started at 6 p.m. from Chamonix, and it wasn't exactly sunny at the start line either. We had a bit of light rain, so it was fairly low light from the start. Before long, the sun had set, but I still wanted to get some footage heading into the next major life base in Saint-Gervais, which you're seeing here. I was pleasantly surprised with how well the camera performed in basically pure darkness, the only lighting being artificial. The stabilization suffered a little bit, which is to be expected, but that's a problem with any action camera, as the stabilization relies on the camera using a relatively high shutter speed, typically at least 1/120th of a second. But below this, the algorithm usually isn't able to cope with the added motion blur. But in normal conditions, the Insta360 X3, like the ONE X2, has excellent stabilization. This is thanks to the flow state stabilization, which is the algorithm used when rendering your clips, along with the fact that the field of view is just so wide to begin with. On any camera, the wider the field of view, that's how wide angle your shot is, the more stable it will be. And of course, like with any 360 camera, the X3 will auto-magically remove the selfie stick from the shot. This is how you get the appearance that the camera is almost hovering above you like a drone, although the selfie stick's shadow can sometimes give it away. It's also got a new larger 1800 milliamp hour battery, so I was able to get away with just using one battery for the entire race, since I was using this camera fairly sporadically along with my GoPro. Now, one feature that I found to actually be more of a drawback for me is the relatively large touchscreen, which when combined with the larger battery, makes the X3 slightly larger and noticeably heavier than the One X2. For most people, this won't be noticeable though, unless, like me, you're planning on carrying it for 106 miles. But many people won't be using their camera in low light conditions either, like me. So I think for some people, the Insta360 One X2, the previous model, might still be a good option. But from what I've seen so far, I'm definitely happy with the performance of the Insta360 X3. And I'm pretty excited to include all of this footage in the film that I'll be publishing this fall about my experience at UTMB. But if you want to learn more about this camera and all of the different specs and modes, and maybe to buy it for yourself, I'll provide a link below. But from what I've seen so far, this new larger sensor is a huge improvement and really sets Insta360 apart from competing cameras like the GoPro Max. So if you found this video helpful, give it a like and be sure to subscribe for more videos like this.